Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Hammer Fist Sports. I am your host, Yasser, and I'm beyond excited to be back on this channel after a very long break. It's been nearly 3 years, and I'm happy more than ever to bring you guys all things fantasy football, all things MMA, and maybe we'll jump into a little bit of basketball too at some point on this channel. But for now, for today, I'm thrilled to welcome my homie, my dog, my nephew, my co-host on my other podcast, the one with my friend's podcast, the one, the only Mr. Issam Jabber. How's it going, Issam?
Oh, what's up?
What up?
What up, punk?
Nice little Friends reference with that. What's up?
Oh, what's up?
Fun fact, you're wearing an LSU jersey or a shirt.
Representing.
I got my Florida State.
Right.
My game plan was to talk a little bit of smack.
That's
But
fine.
now that you have that, I'm not going to talk about the last 2 times that we beat y'all. Like, whatever. It's not that important type of thing. I'm a humble person, Issam. I'm not going to bring those things up.
They were lucky, and we were there for one of them at least.
Both times we were there in New Orleans.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun though. They were great games. I think the one that we went to was amazing.
Yeah, it came down to last second missed kick.
Yeah. No, was it missed kick or they went for 2? No, yeah, it was a missed kick. Yeah.
Missed kick.
Yeah, after y'all tried to blow it. I remember that.
And the dude in the stands ended up pushing you.
Yeah.
He was way too excited. And he pushed me too. And I was like, hold on, what's going on here?
He shut me down. It's all right. He apologized. I was like, it's all good, bro.
Yeah. It didn't matter at that point.
Yeah. I was more upset about the loss than the push. So it's all good.
Well, I'm glad we're talking about football because today we've got a fantastic episode in our welcoming back episode of Hammer Fist Sports. We'll be sharing our top 5 fantasy quarterbacks of 2024 and giving you guys all the insights and predictions you need to dominate your league. But that's not all. We'll also be discussing our top 5 late round heroes, those hidden gems that can help you win a championship, especially in those deeper leagues or in those keeper leagues that might be beneficial for you guys. Moby, what do you say we just get right into it?
Let's go. So
we both created a list. You've got yours. I've got mine. I'm going to let you run through your list. Moby, who do you have at your number 5?
Number 5, I have a future MVP of this league.
Oof.
And a future Super Bowl MVP of this league. It will be coming soon. It's Mr. Joseph Burrow, LSU.
Is his first name really Joseph?
I don't know. I just went with that. But it's definitely Joe Burrow. Yeah. And everything else I said about the future for him is going to be true. Just go ahead and book that. But yeah, that's my boy, obviously from LSU. But that's not why he's number 5. Number 5 is coming off an injury. Okay. And I think he's going to bounce back from last year. And I think he's going to put up some really good numbers. I actually think he's going to be higher, but I wanted to temper my expectations and maybe my bias. So I just went ahead and put 5, even though I really think he'll probably be a little higher. But yeah, that's my boy, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all
the youngest offense in the NFL.
Yeah, they're going to be putting up some numbers. So just be ready for this season. But yeah, that's my number 5.
Who do you got at number 4, Moby?
All right. And then at number 4, that's right, Jalen Hurts, who also had kind of a downish season. I mean, he still put up good numbers, but the second half of the season, he really fell off. But I'm expecting him to bounce back. And also those sneaking in the touchdowns from the 1-yard line is just, I mean, like you really can't beat that. So from that
push.
Yeah, exactly. So from that perspective, that's why I have him higher than Joe Burrow. And then on my next pick, Lamar Jackson. Can't go wrong. I had him on I think I had him on 2 fantasy teams last year. Yeah, that's my boy. He does have some games where it's like no points, which kind of sucks, but then he'll go off and get like 40, 30. He'll single-handedly win you your fantasy week that week. So that's why I got him as number 3, just the running, the throwing. He's the whole package. So yeah, he's always basically their offense pretty much every year.
Yeah.
And then next, number 2 is the baby goat himself. Also had a down statistical season, even though they won the Super Bowl, obviously. But I think he's going to bounce back. They got some more wide receivers. They actually have some weapons for him this year. I think he's going to put up bigger numbers. I don't think he's going to win the Super Bowl, but I think he's going to put up bigger numbers this year. So that's why
you're saying no three-peat.
No three-peat. That's too hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
two-peat. A lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's hard in basketball, much less football. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. I'm not seeing a three-peat, but if anybody can do it, is that dude. So yeah, he's just automatically, you got to have him top 2 no matter what. And then number 1 is who is always my number 1 the last 3 seasons for me, Josh Allen. I'm hoping he doesn't get hurt because we've been kind of lucky in the way he plays. This may be the season, not that I'm trying to put it on him. But yeah, hopefully he stays healthy. But I mean, running, throwing, I mean, what else is there to say? He's, even on his bad games, it's like 20 points. So I always have him in at least one of my leagues normally. That's normally my first pick that I'll take for quarterback.
Really?
But yeah. Wow. I really like him. But yeah, so I'm going Josh Allen as my number 1 fantasy quarterback for the 2024 season.
Wow. Great list, Issam. I think we have a lot of similarities. We have some differences, and I think my list might surprise you a little bit.
Okay.
But at number 5, you call him the baby goat. He kind of looks more like a rhino to me. I'm going to call him the baby rhino.
Okay.
He was the number 8 fantasy quarterback last season with 294 fantasy points. He threw just under 4,200 yards, 27 touchdowns. That was a career low for him, Moby. 27 touchdowns.
His first year, he threw 50.
He threw 50 of them, which is crazy. That's almost like Peyton Manning territory.
Yeah.
He did have a career high interceptions at 14. He did rush for just under 400 yards, but man, no rushing touchdowns for him last season, and it hurt. I had him in fantasy football or in one of my fantasy leagues, and he hurt me because I was expecting those, 1 yard. But when you got a dog like Isaiah Pacheco, it's like, what even?
And that time he got hurt when he tried to quarterback sneak a few years ago.
Yeah.
Ever since then, they don't do that for him, so he's not going to get a lot.
He doesn't need to
get a lot of rushing. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't need to though.
Yeah.
So I have a little stat that I created. It's a metric. It's called PSI, positive snap influence. Influence. Okay. So basically what it means is it's basically the percentage of offensive snaps where the quarterback contributes to a positive play. That could be gaining yards, scoring, anything that advances the play. All right. So Patrick Mahomes has a 67% positive snap influence. And just to give you an idea, I think the highest person on my list in the NFL last season had a 69% positive snap influence. So which means that Patrick Mahomes influences 67% of his snaps to be some kind of positive outcome, which is incredible. He still has Rashee Rice, 80 receptions last year, almost 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. He is dealing with significant legal issues. Rice is likely to face suspension by the NFL at some point. So, also you have Travis Kelce, who is aging, that the idea of retirement is, kind of out there. They did draft Xavier Woods at the 31st pick in the first round. He's 6'1", 165 pounds. The dude ran a 4.29 at the combine. He's an elite runner. He has an ability to catch in deep threats. He has good hands, good route running. His only weakness, in my opinion, is that he does have a slim frame, which might make him durable, not so durable, and maybe susceptible to injuries. I did see a couple of training camp videos of him just kind of getting bullied around a little bit, so I'm a little bit worried from that stance. And I think there's just a lot of pressure from Mahomes at 3-peat. But from a fantasy perspective, I got him at my number 5.
Okay, you threw a lot at me.
I threw a lot.
and all I'm going to say is that's all cool, but I watched the games, and he had a down season. It's not going to be like that this year. He's going to throw 35 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's going to throw 4,500 yards.
Yeah. He's still a top 5, but I don't think he's the guy this year.
And I think those other wide receivers are going to do some things. You'll see. That was a down year and still won the Super Bowl and only threw that many touchdowns. That's crazy.
Name.
I would have thought he was like 15th quarterback last year.
That's how bad I thought. Well, yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I can't believe it's 8.
Yeah, I can't even believe he threw almost 4,200 yards.
Yeah.
That was crazy to me when I saw that. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, because it didn't feel like he had a good year.
Well, he was dinking. They were making him dink and dunk, and they
Yep.
thought it would frustrate him. But by the time the Super Bowl came, he was like,
No, he was ready.
I'm gonna do. Yeah, he's
Dude,
like,
that defense stepped up late too.
that defense was really good. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
that defense
that's
stepped up.
100%. I'm just saying, his number wise, it's not gonna be that low again.
All right.
We'll see though. We'll see.
At number 4, I'm right there with you, Moby. I think Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback this season. I got him at number 4. Last season, he was a number 2 fantasy quarterback at 372 fantasy points. He passed 3,800 yards, just over 3,800 yards, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He did rush for 605 yards and rush for 15 touchdowns. His positive snap influence, which is the positive outcomes from each snap, is about 65%, just a little bit higher than Patrick Mahomes. He still has what I think is one of the best. I'm sorry, lower. Yeah, thank you. It's a little bit lower than Patrick Mahomes. I do still think that the Eagles have one of the best wide receiver duos out there with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
They did sign veteran wide receiver Paris Campbell, and they picked up Saquon Barkley, which is huge for them.
He's probably going to take his touchdowns away, though.
They're going to take his touchdowns away. Yep, I agree with that, which is why he's at number 4, not anywhere higher.
I agree.
They also drafted a wide receiver out of Texas A&M, Ania Smith, and then they also drafted Johnny Wilson out of LSU. So Smith from Texas A&M is the first player in SEC history with 2,000 receiving yards and 215 rushing yards, 250 punt yards, and 250 kick return yards.
Dang.
This dude is a dog.
Okay.
They also got Wilson out of FSU, and he's known for his height and physical presence. The dude is 6'7". This dude should have been playing basketball. I worry about injuries with
red zone package.
Zone target. That's a dog right there. So hey, when we do our late round wide receiver picks in the future, keep him in mind. At number 3, I got Lamar Jackson. I'm right there with you too, man. He was a number 4 fantasy quarterback last season with 338 fantasy points. He threw 3,678 yards, which is a career high for Lamar Jackson, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Did you know that in the last 2 years, he has thrown less than 14 touchdowns in the last, less than 14 interceptions in the last 2 seasons.
Dang,
so
man.
he's been very efficient last season, especially getting that contract. He got paid. He's feeling good. He also rushed for 821 yards. I mean, you put his rushing and his passing yards together, dude is over 4,000 something yards. Yeah. He also rushed for 5 touchdowns. His positive snap influence is also at 65%. So he influences 65% of his, which is great. They re-signed wide receiver Nelson Aguilar to a 1-year, $3.75 million deal. They also signed veteran running back Derrick Henry to a 2-year, $16 million deal. But they did lose both running backs, Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, and they both went to the Chargers, which is crazy. So it's
weird.
like
I didn't even know that.
Harbaugh got himself a package deal.
Yeah.
They also have back there Justice Hill and second-year running back Keaton Mitchell, who I absolutely love. The dude is a dog. He did get injured late.
They don't need any of it. They have so many running backs. They just plug somebody in, and because of Lamar Jackson's threat, they always get through. Plus, Derrick Henry, that's going to take away his touchdowns, even though he only had 5 rushing last year.
Derrick Henry is going to take away a lot of touchdowns, but you know what? We know what Derrick Henry is going to do. He's going to open up that play action.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to make that team stupid deadly.
Nelson Aguilar can hold on to the ball.
He can hold on to the ball. They also have Zay Flowers, Rashard Bateman. They still have Mark Andrews. But I do believe that John Harbaugh is in the hot seat with the Ravens. I mean, like, if you don't do it this year, you've got a young Lamar Jackson, and you can't get us, can't win a Super Bowl. This is it. It's got to be it. But the question is, who do you bring in instead? But
that's the thing,
yeah.
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick is going to be busy next season. At number 2, here we go. This is where we start surprising people.
Lego.
I got Jared Goff as the number 2 fantasy quarterback. I love that reaction. That's what I'm here for. Let me give it to you.
I had him in fantasy last year.
I did too. He was amazing. I loved him.
Amazing. But
Last season, he was a number 7 fantasy quarterback with 303 fantasy points. He threw 4,575 yards, just behind Tua in yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. This was his second best season since he was a Ram. He did rush for 21 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's nothing. But he had the highest positive snap influence out of any quarterback last season at 69%. This dude is advancing plays. He's getting it done. He's not doing it alone. All right. He did get his contract extended 4 years, $212 million. He has a stud wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They extended him 4 years. That dude's a stud. That dude wins championships.
I have him in at least 2 leagues, like the last 2 years.
Yeah,
love him.
I had him in a keeper league too.
Yeah, love him.
St. Brown finished with the 3rd most receiving yards last season at 1,515. Other wide receivers they have Jamison Williams, Khalif Raymond, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Traquan Smith, and they have a slew of tight ends. They got Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, Shane Zolstra. Brock Wright just got re-signed. And don't forget the 2-headed running back duo in David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery, when he's healthy, he runs like a dog, man. That dude is going. Yeah, and Jahmyr Gibbs, you put that ball in his hands, or you do a little dink and dunk to him, he's gone. He's a monster. So that's why I've got Jared Goff up there. They also they've got they got a new center coming in. He's 31 years old. He's a little bit older, but he's an 8-year veteran. He's a Pro Bowler. I think he was a Pro Bowler in 22 or 23. He finally has a decent offensive line. So there's really no excuses for Jared Goff. And let me tell you something. If Jared Goff doesn't do it this season for them, they got Herndon Hooker, who's looking amazing in training camp. Some of those zips he's putting on there are incredible.
Training camp stuff, please. That's, everybody's back up. Everybody looks good in training
Everybody
camp.
looks good in training camp.
I hate that. I used to fall for that all the time.
No, but it's not that. You got to look at the ball placement and the way it comes out of the hand. Like that looks amazing.
I agree. I've heard it so many times.
I know. And it doesn't. And it doesn't play out.
Yeah, we'll see. If I see it, then I'll be like, all right, you were right.
Like, damn, this Hollow was right again.
We get to keep these lists, right?
Yeah, we get to keep these. Let's go. They don't delete after a certain period.
I can't wait. At the end.
And the number 1 top fantasy quarterback to have in 2024, according to me, is, are you ready for it?
The same as me.
CJ Stroud. Let's talk about CJ Stroud. Let's talk about him.
He's my number 6. But go ahead. No, I'll say what I'm going to say after you get.
Well, I actually have. I didn't even put Josh Allen in my top 5.
That's what I was like.
He's got issues. There's issues over there. CJ Stroud was a number 11 fantasy quarterback last season as a rookie, 280 fantasy points. Also won Offensive Rookie of the Year, 4,108 yards in his rookie year, 23 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. And don't forget how many injuries they had at wide receiver throughout the season. Nico Collins, Tank Dell. He rushed for 167 yards and 3 touchdowns, 65% positive snap influence. They just signed free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs, who had his second best year of his career at 111 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Diggs' career in the league averaging 1,141 yards per season. As a Buffalo Bill, he averaged 1,411 yards, and he's a 1,000-yard wide receiver regardless of what team he's on. And over the last 3 seasons, you want to talk about recency bias? Over the last 3 seasons, he's averaged over 1,300 yards, almost 1,400 yards. You put him alongside Nico Collins, alongside Tank Dell, and then they go and sign veteran running back Joe Mixon. CJ Stroud is a man this season. And if I'm wrong, come at me, bro. And there it is. There's your top 5 list. Quarterbacks in 2024. Anything you want to say before we hop over to the deep league, late round heroes?
Just that CJ Stroud is a dog. I think he had a great rookie season. They're going to be ready for him this year. And Stephon Diggs is going to give him a little bit of a headache like he did to Kirk Cousins and Josh Allen.
As long as he puts up 1,000 yards, he could be a migraine.
Yeah, that's good for him. But I'm talking about for CJ Stroud. We're not talking about Stephon Diggs. I'm talking about CJ Stroud. It's going to be difficult for him because he's going to be having to think, oh, did I give him the ball enough, blah, blah. Josh Allen is going to be going off Maybe not win as many games, but his numbers are going to be good because he's going to be throwing it to whoever he wants. Now he don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff. So that's one thing. Actually, yeah, let's go to the next round.
All right, let's do it. I know you're about to talk shit about Josh Allen, but that's cool.
Nah,
he's not going to be there in the top 5 this season, unfortunately. There's
no,
nobody to throw to.
Only if he gets hurt. That's the only way he's not in the top 5. Are you kidding?
He won't be there.
Okay. All right. Neither will Jared Goff.
Okay, we'll see. I love it. This is why I love fantasy football. This is why I love football season. Yeah. All right, here we go. Late round heroes of 2024. Moby, who do you got at number 5 on your list of late round heroes?
5. I have. This is probably shocking to you.
I was shocked.
Because I was very
sure
shocked.
I was.
I have Derek Carr. Now, Issam. Derek Carr, what are you doing?
What do you think?
I don't. Oh, you're a Saints fan. That's why. Yes, I am. And I actually don't like Derek Carr. But I did look up, and anytime Derek Carr starts in a new offense, he's really bad that first year. Yeah. The second year is always his best year. And this is his second year in the same offense. And he's getting back most of his weapons with Olave. Alvin Kamara should be back once we sign him, which I'm sure we will. Yeah. And we still have Michael Thomas if he decides to play. You never know with him.
It's been years since that dude has played. That dude hasn't played since Drew Brees was his quarterback.
Not playing. He played like 5 games last year, and he caught like 4 touchdowns.
Come on, bro.
And then we didn't see him the rest of the year.
Why are you guys still holding on? Anyways, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother, because we paid him too much money, and then it would be worthless to drop him right now. That's basically it. But anyway, Derek Carr. Basically, I'm banking on his history. I think he's going to put up. And this is a late round hero, so it's not like I'm saying he's going to ball. And he's my last pick on the late round heroes as well. But I think he's going to put up surprising numbers. And he'll, if you want, I would take him as a backup and just be ready. You can use him like a week or 2. And I think he's going to throw 4 or 5 touchdowns some weeks. So that is my number 5. My number 4 is the guy everybody hates to take.
But ends up taking any later.
Everybody ends up taking him and then being like, oh, it's not that bad. And it's just Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I know he's probably with the Falcons now. But he'll do what he does. He'll lose close games, but he'll put up big numbers. And then once everybody talks a lot of crap, then he'll win one big game. And then everybody be like, oh, yeah, we were all wrong. And then he'll choke towards the end. Okay. But during all that, sorry, I'll leave you with all the stats. I'll just give the narratives. Yeah. But yeah, he's still going to put up decent numbers. He's still going to be on there. So anytime you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, just grab Kirk Cousins. That's my default. And on the next pick, we're going to have Yasser's boy, Aaron Rodgers.
Yasser's boy.
Yeah. I think he's got some weapons. I think he's going to do better than last year, meaning he's going to play more than 10 minutes. I think this is going to be his I think it's going to be his last like decent season.
Probably.
And I just feel like, he's got one this is like, how like you got the old gunslinger kind of guy that's like, this is his last battle fight. He's going to throw up some numbers up there, but I think he will falter towards the end.
Yeah,
but I do think there's going to be. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people this season.
He's got a couple of dogs at wide receiver.
Yeah, but I do think he's going to start breaking down towards the end of the season.
Like body wise, physically.
Yeah.
He. I mean, historically, he's had a ton of injuries.
Yeah, collarbones. But I feel like the first like 3 months, I think he's going to come out on fire. I could be wrong. You know me, I'm an Aaron Rodgers hater, so I don't want.
He's been waiting. No, it makes sense.
Yeah. All right. And then on the next one, Trevor Lawrence. I may have took him. He may not deserve to be this late. I don't know. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions about him.
Yeah.
I had him. He actually won me a few games last year. I had to pick him up. He's decent. He'll sometimes throw 4 touchdowns and then he'll throw 4 interceptions, no touchdowns the next game or something like that. So you don't really know, but I do like his progression since he's been in the league. Once he got rid of Urban Meyer, obviously, and I think he's pretty good. He's no Joe Burrow like everybody was trying to say. That was crazy, especially when he beat him in the national championship. Different story, different day. But yeah, I'm gonna go number 2 on my late round heroes. Trevor Lawrence. And then my number 1 is on Yasser's top list, and hit me with it. Jared Goff. So I agree with you. I just don't think as highly as you. I think he had a great season last year. He really impressed me. His poise, the way he moves in the pocket was really good, because normally he has no mobility. He's like if he's not getting it out quick, he's normally getting hit. But he did a pretty good job last year.
Quick, they're getting them all out.
They taught him, getting it out, but even moving a little bit, he did pretty good.
Probably give a lot of credit. Give a lot of credit to the offensive coordinator there too. For drawing out some good plays.
Offensive coordinator is great. I don't know what they paid him to keep him, because I know a lot of people. I can't remember his name right now.
I don't remember his name.
A lot of teams wanted to bring him as a head coach, but he ended up staying another year. Yeah. So they must have paid him a good amount. But he probably believes he's really good. So Jared Goff better stay with him.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he's going to be my number 1 late round heroes.
Nice. You might end up being spot on with that one. All right, let's get to my list of late round heroes. I have a lot of shockers. You may not like my picks, but here we go. This is why we have these conversations. At number 5, I've got a guy who's not even supposed to be starting.
Okay.
Drake May, the 3rd overall pick by the New England Patriots. I know you don't like training camp either, but he's looking phenomenal in training camp. He's been playing against the number 1 defense, the first team defense. He's also played against the second team defense. Right now, Jacoby Brissett is the number 1 QB there, but he never stays. Yeah, it's going to be him. They also have Joe Milton back there at 3rd string, who looks pretty damn good too. But the Patriots actually have a decent receiving core, and they drafted Javon Baker at the 110th pick overall out of UCF, and he's looking amazing. I saw a couple clips of him yesterday. I was like, oh, that dude looks like a dog. But that's what I got Drake May at number 5 in the super, super deep leagues. If you need somebody, or if you're not keeper league, pick up Drake May.
Okay.
At number 4, I'm kind of surprised he's not on your list. Okay. That's your boy, Jaden Daniels, dude. Yeah. 2nd overall pick out of LSU by the Washington Commanders. I think Daniels is one of the biggest sleepers this season. Like, if you're in that keeper league, this is the guy. Terry McLaurin didn't look so scary McLaurin last season, but I think with these two together, they can develop some solid chemistry. Plus, the addition of Austin Eckler to this offense alongside Brian Robinson Jr., that's going to be a very scary offense. And I think Jaden Daniels might be a fantasy stud this season too. He might be worth having on your bench.
I hope you're right. I really do. I just think he's going to be a second-year type guy. I think he's going to be a little struggling this year.
A lot of pressure with the Commanders trying to win.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I think so, but I think he's going to be really good next year, but who knows? We'll see.
At number 3, I've got the forgotten child. Nobody's talking about him. Anthony Richardson.
Ooh, I forgot about him.
Fantasy owners, do not forget about Anthony Richardson. He is fully healthy. He's back at training camp. He's showing a lot of improvement, and his accuracy and decision-making is what they're reporting is looking even better than it did before. Colts also have Jonathan Taylor, and they sneakily picked up Trey Sermon, who couldn't really stay healthy in San Francisco, but he's also a great pickup. They do have a mediocre wide receiver core, but they also picked up wide receiver Donde Mitchell out of Texas in the draft, who's showing promise, making him an asset to the Colts this offseason. Don't forget about Anthony Richardson. Moby, you forgot about him, didn't you?
I didn't. I just didn't think he'd be in the late round because I feel like I'm going to take him pretty high.
now that I reminded you, he might be worth
No, I remember him. That's what I was saying. I didn't know if he would be here in the late round.
I think he might be available like round 7, 8.
You think so?
I think round 7, 8.
When he left.
He was balling before he got hurt. Yeah,
he just got hurt. I would take him.
I mean, I would too, but this is why we have this video so that everybody else can.
Yeah, and also we're doing a fantasy football podcast, so we're like really into it.
Oh yeah,
like most everybody else is probably like, oh, who's that?
Who's that guy? Right? Yeah. Exactly. At number 2, I think we are aligned here. I also have Trevor Lawrence. In 2023, he was the number 13 fantasy quarterback at 277 fantasy points. He passed for just under 4,000 yards, 3,912, 21 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He also rushed for 320 yards and 5 touchdowns. He has a 65% positive snap influence. Also during the offseason, Jaguars added Mac Jones, who I think could put a little pressure on Trevor Lawrence. Not too much, but just enough to know, like, hey, somebody is like behind me, so I do need to get my stuff together. They also added or stole wide receiver Gabe Davis, gave him a 3-year, $39 million contract. They also added center Mitch Morse, who would be the starter of the season, and they added wide receiver Devin Duvernay, who's got some deep threat in him. They did let go of what's his name? The guy he used to play for Atlanta. I can't think of his name. I had him in every single one of my leagues, but they let him go.
Oh,
I know.
The dude that got suspended.
The dude got suspended for gambling.
I can't remember his name.
I can't remember. It'll come later after we stop recording.
Yeah, I hated
my number one late round hero. Are you guys ready for this?
Dun, dun, dun.
This guy may not even be available late. Guys, get Caleb Williams. I was not a believer in him. I thought he was going to be a bust. But seeing again what he's doing in training camp and the reports coming out of training camp. First overall pick out of USC, signed by the Bears. He has the highest positive snap influence out of any NFL quarterback last season and any college quarterback last season. 72% positive snap influence. This dude knows how to move the ball and advance it. He's surrounded by an elite core of wide receivers. Last year, they brought in DJ Moore. He's 27 years old. In the offseason, they brought a veteran presence in wide receiver Keenan Allen, and they drafted an absolute monster in Rome Odunze.
Dang.
They also signed free agent DeAndre Swift, who's going to be great for Caleb's little dink and dunk, that little speedster. Lots of checkdowns. And he's also surrounded by a veteran tight end group with Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, and Mercedes Lewis. Yes, Mercedes Lewis is still in the league. And there it is. There's your top 5 late round heroes from both myself and Moby. And I just realized I misspelled heroes. Hey, you know what? Talk smack about me in the comments. Go ahead and write that in there for me.
Heados.
I
will say you did go super young.
I did.
I think your oldest player is what, 24?
Trevor Lawrence might be the oldest player on this list.
Yeah. So I see where you're going. You got a lot of faith in the young guys.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, that's a great pick. I totally forgot about him. I would probably put him over Aaron Rodgers. And move down.
Yes.
So that's probably what I would have done. So I like your list. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that you got it. I would take away these two.
Which two?
The 4 and 5, and probably just
my 4 and 5 or your 4 and 5?
Your 4 and 5.
Oh.
And then probably change my 4 and 5. Put Caleb Williams and Aaron Rodgers, Anthony Richardson as well.
Well, you get to redeem yourself next time we do another one of these.
Oh yeah, I definitely got you on the first one though. That you're going to be embarrassed by the end of the season.
Well, hey, it was a great welcoming back episode, bringing back Hammer Fist Sports back to life. Appreciate you, Issam, for being our special guest today. I hope you come back and join me next time when we do top 5 fantasy running backs of the 24 season. Thanks again, everybody. See ya.